How's it going, Gumi Gang? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing awesome. First off, just want to say sorry if it seems like I haven't really been uploading too much recently. Just haven't been super interested in playing because the game's gotten so stale and the poor shotgun category is just kind of getting the short end of the stick. But I still have plenty of content coming, and hopefully with the Olympia coming in the next week or so, we'll get some good videos out on that and hopefully some good shotgun balancing. But today's video, we're going to focus on an aftermarket part that you guys may have forgotten about that turns the KV broadside into a hard-hitting assault rifle. This is the JAK Jawbreaker. I talked about this last when it was a Modern Warfare 3's version of Warzone, and since it has came out, it's gone downhill but also uphill again, so today's video is going to focus on that. The first thing I want to do is compare some of the TTKs to some of the cream of the crop guns in the assault rifle and SMG category, just so you guys get an idea of where this thing sits in the TTK realm. Now if you take a look at the screenshot, you'll see the JAK Jawbreaker sits at pretty much the end of the list. It's at the very bottom, or I guess in this case the top, which is not good because you want it to be a shorter time to kill. But keep in mind, these are the cream of the crop guns, the AMAX, the KRIG-C, and the LC-10 up close. And as you can see, this thing does not really have a good time to kill compared to them, but it's also not awful. It's not super bad to where you can't really do anything against anyone using these. Maybe against really competitive players that don't miss their shots, sure, but it's not so far down the list where it's just impossible to use and do well with. It's definitely possible. I definitely had some good games with it, and most importantly, it is very fun to use. But there's one thing about it that I enjoyed so much that I thought was really cool that actually got a buff within the last month or so. Now, before this buff or this fix, this gun was actually really strange because for whatever reason, the recoil was so bad. The visual shake was impossible to use on this gun. That's why I haven't really made a video about it in the last month or so, or before that, is because the recoil was just out of this world and you couldn't do much about it. And it wasn't the gun kick itself, it was the visual, like, peripheral recoil. The visual clutter was so bad. But they did actually fix this, and now it's actually super smooth. And this is one of the reasons I find it is so much fun to use, combined with its fire rate and how it feels. Visual recoil for this thing is pretty much non-existent. I'll show you guys a little clip on screen, and this is definitely by far the coolest thing about this aftermarket part to me. But right now at this point, that peripheral noise, that all that recoil that you see on the sides of your screen, all that shaking, basically doesn't really exist with this gun, unless you maybe put like the stockless attachment on that. But for the most part, it's gone. And this feels very similar to, I think it was the Ram 7 in Modern Warfare 3's version of Warzone. When that came out, it had like no cluttery visual recoil at all. It was just a straight shooter beam. It was crazy. Now this thing does still have some kick, like the bullets actually go up and you have to kick them down. It's just, again, just keep in mind the peripheral, the outside of that gun where all that visual shake just doesn't really exist, and it's super smooth to handle. Now if you compare it to something like the Kilo 141, which is a pretty smooth gun, you'll see that even the Kilo 141 still has that visual obstruction, that kind of noise going on. It's not terrible, but you can see there's some flashing on the screen. It kind of shakes a little bit left and right, but the JAK Jawbreaker just doesn't have it. It's super nice. It's super fun. It felt really satisfying to use, even with iron sights. Now, like I said, the time to kill isn't the greatest compared to things like the KRIG-C and the AMAX, specifically the KRIG-C, which is in basically every damn game I play with the LC-10. It's getting to be such a damn chore to run into these two stupidly strong guns. But thankfully, like I said, it's not so far down the list where you can't really compete with it. You still can, you just gotta hit your shots well, and hopefully the enemy doesn't hit all of their shots. But I'd argue that this isn't the kind of gun where you're going to compete and you're going in to just always kind of win a game and you're just going to straight meta and sweat mode. That's not really the case with this. It can compete decently well, and even though it has a slower fire rate so it's more forgiving, it's just a lot of fun, and it's not unusable fun where, you know, a gun is just practically useless but it feels good to use. This actually has some viability. It still feels good, and it's very fun. That's definitely why I'm making a video for you guys about this gun. It is very fun to use. Having that really reduced visual noise, or that visual recoil, makes it such a smooth experience, and I definitely recommend the iron sights. Now, if you want to know what classes I've been running, this is a pretty safe and balanced build overall. It rocks the JAK glassless optic, which you can use an optic of your choice. This one was actually super smooth. I like this one a lot. It's always a go-to for things like this. Then the other attachments are basically just for recoil control, which there isn't much variety there. Black Ops 6 attachment balancing, not the greatest, pretty boring, pretty streamlined. I don't like it. I wish we had more variety like Modern Warfare 3's guns. But I also recommend checking out an iron sight build because it's not super obstructive and it is a lot of fun. It's not ideal, but it is a lot of fun. And for that, this is what I've been rocking. And again, I had a blast with it and it's super fun and it's just super smooth and I really like it. Keep in mind, of course, too, besides the damage, the bullet velocity is a lot slower compared to some of the other ARs and things like that from Black Ops 6. And the fire rate is a little bit slower, so it's more unforgiving if you miss shots, but trust me, it is a fun gun to use. But overall, that's all I gotta say about the JAK Jawbreaker. It's definitely fun, definitely worth looking into if you're looking to change it up and have something fun instead of the usual Krig C, LC10, Krig C, LC10 meta. This is going to help change it up a little bit, even though it's not super competitive, but that's just about going to do it. So as always, I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about this gun in particular? Have you guys used it in the last month or so? With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.